When I tell this story, hardly anyone believes me. They say I made it all up or that I was drunk that night, but I know what I saw. If it weren't for what happened afterward, maybe even I would have chalked it up to some bad dream, but it wasn't a dream. And every time I close my eyes, I can still hear the crunch of the leaves, smell the damp earth, and see that thing waiting for me in the darkness. I was 19 at the time, living in a small town in the countryside of Parana called Cruz das Almas, the kind of place where everyone knows everyone, where the only police station closes at night because nothing ever happens. I worked at Mr. Jalma's grocery store, stacking boxes and writing down people's tabs in an old notebook. It wasn't much, but it paid for gas for my beat-up motorcycle and sometimes left me enough to grab a few beers with my buddies by the river. That Friday, I made plans with my best friend, Rado. His real name's Ricardo, but nobody calls him that, to go out to the reservoir about 20 minutes down a dirt road. It was an old, half-abandoned spot surrounded by woods, with a clearing good enough to build a fire and shoot the breeze. We took a few cans of beer, some meat skewers, and my guitar, which I barely knew how to play, but liked to pretend I did. We got there around 8 p.m. It was a weird night. No moon, no wind. Just that pitch-black dark mist that swallows you whole when you wander too far from town. Rado teased me for bringing a flashlight, said I was chicken, but he wasn't a laughing later. If it weren't for that flashlight, I don't know if I'd be here now. We spent about 2 hours drinking, playing bad songs, and talking about girls. Woo! Around 10 p.m., I noticed the fire was dying down. I told Rado I'd go look for some thicker branches to keep it going. He was half asleep sitting by the fire. I grabbed the flashlight, told him I'd be right back, and stepped into the brush at the edge of the clearing. The clearing was ringed with tall pine trees. As soon as I left the circle of firelight, everything changed. The air got colder, the smell stronger, pure dampness mixed with rotting leaves. I'd been there before, but never alone at night. Every step I took, the crunch of dry leaves under my sneakers, sounded so loud I kept stopping to check if anyone else was out there, and that's when the silence hit. It's hard to explain. It wasn't normal silence. It was like everything just stopped. The crickets, the frogs, even the wind. Nothing. Just the sound of my heart pounding in my throat. I pointed the flashlight ahead and saw some bushes, a few fallen logs, and thought, grab the wood, get back to the fire, stop being a wuss. I was crouching down to pick up a dry branch when I heard a snap right behind me. I spun around so fast I almost dropped the flashlight. I shined it everywhere, nothing. Maybe an armadillo, I thought. I kept going. Another snap, closer this time. I held my breath. The light shook in my hand, and then I saw it. At first, just two reflections like eyes, low to the ground. Then a shape. I couldn't tell if it was an animal, a person, or something else. It was long, skinny, but it seemed to slither or drag itself between the bushes. When the flashlight beam hit it, it froze. So did I. For a second that felt like forever, I couldn't move. Couldn't blink. It stayed there, staring at me. I caught a horrible smell, like rotting meat mixed with something burnt. Then it started creeping forward, slowly, like it was testing to see if I'd run, but I didn't run. I couldn't. The flashlight trembled so much the beam danced across its face, if it even had a face. It was a wet, grayish mass with something like claws or very long, thin fingers. When it got about 10 feet away, I heard something else, a whisper. I couldn't make out words, but it was a raspy voice, mixed with the wind. My legs finally came back to life. I stepped back once, then again. The thing edged forward. I turned and bolted through the underbrush, branches scratching my arms and legs, tripping over roots. The flashlight hit a branch and died. That's when I heard it. It was coming after me. I ran as fast as I could until I saw the glow of the fire again. I burst into the clearing, nearly throwing up from fear and exhaustion. Rado woke up, startled, asking what the hell happened. All I could do was point at the woods, trying to say, "There's something out there." He laughed, of course. "You're crazy, it's just some animal. A skunk, an armadillo." But I knew it wasn't. We tried to stoke the fire, but the wood was damp. The beer was gone. I told him we should leave, but he refused. Said I was imagining things because of the booze. I wasn't. I'd never been more sober. We sat back to back, staring at the edge of the woods. The night felt alive. Every rustle sounded like it was still there, waiting. When the sky started to lighten, we packed up and left. On the dirt road, I swear to God, I saw marks on the embankment. Lawn grooves, like something had dragged itself through the wet mud. Rado told me to shut up. Said if I told anyone, they'd think we were on drugs. And that's pretty much what happened. I got home and tried to sleep. Couldn't spend all Saturday replaying it in my head. Monday, I went back to work at the grocery store. Mr. Jalma looked at me funny, said I looked pale. I told him vaguely what I'd seen. He didn't laugh, on the contrary. He told me to keep my mouth shut, that some things are better left alone. I asked what he knew, but he just shrugged, saying that before they built the reservoir, that area was deep forest, full of stories. People disappeared. Animals no one hunted. After that night, I never went back there after dark. Not even during the day. Rado still went sometimes, but always alone. A month later, he disappeared. His mom called me, asking if I knew where he was. I said I didn't. They found his bike dumped in a ditch near the dirt road, but no sign of him. No backpack, no helmet, no footprints. Just mud, like someone had swept everything away. They say he ran off to Snow Paulo, got mixed up in trouble and vanished. I know better. I know he went back there. And that the thing was waiting. I never told the cops. Never really told anyone. To this day, I hate walking down dirt roads. Sometimes I dream I'm back in those woods, holding that flashlight, hearing that whisper. I always wake up at the same point, smelling wet earth. And no matter where I am, I swear for a split second I hear the leaves crunching, like it is coming to find me again. So if someone ever asks you to go drink by the reservoir, say no. And if you hear something out in the woods, don't turn on your flashlight. Just run, because not everything that lives in the dark wants to be seen. And sometimes what you see stays inside you forever. To this day, I still wonder, if I hadn't looked, would that thing have looked back?